the next page, 3878. At the bottom of that page, you'll see 2024-10-29.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's the 29th of October,
Confirm.
2024, which means that you would have received the documents on the 27th of October, 2024.
I would think that would be around about right, yes.
Now, you say when you received these documents, you went to go and speak to, who was it, Miss?
Sakina.
Yes. But did you not also tell the IDAC officials that you also took the documents to Mr. Ian Cameron?
No, I mentioned it to Ian Cameron. I
Okay.
didn't take it to him.
And what was his attitude towards it?
He seemed genuinely worried.
Okay, and when would you have done that?
If it wasn't the same day, it would have been the next day, ma'am.
Okay, so you take it to Mr. Adams, and what is the reason for
Cameron.
taking it to Cameron? And what is the reason for taking it to him?
He's my portfolio chairperson. I didn't take it to him. I mentioned it to him. I said, I've got these documents. They look pretty serious. I did not take it to him. I did not hand it to him.
Okay, and you described it to him,
Yes, ma'am.
and you say he was serious about it.
He looked genuinely concerned. I told him I was going to lay a case.
Oh, you did tell him?
Yes.
Okay, and what did he say to that?
He said, no, it's the right thing to do.
Okay.
So you mentioned the contents.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
told him what these documents
did.
are about.
I'm just sorry, man, just because it's 18 months ago. I'm just thinking, did I call him or did I go to him? But I know I spoke to him. I know that, but he seemed genuinely worried. And when I said, I'm going to lay a criminal charge, he said, it's the right thing to do.
Okay, so we know now you receive it 2 days before, according to you, and you discuss it with him either that same day or the next day. And you know that you have a duty to report, and that's why you're reporting it to him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Does he say that something must be done about it in addition to the criminal investigation?
He did not, ma'am. He did not, actually. If I think about it, he didn't.
Did you not tell the IDAC team that he didn't seem interested in the information
No.
that you had?
I wouldn't have said that.
Okay. So I'm just trying to understand why you're opening up a criminal case if you've reported to the head of the portfolio committee. He seems to take it seriously. Don't you follow that process?
The head of the portfolio committee, just like me, just like the minister, doesn't have investigative power.
Okay, but why?
We are essentially glorified administrators. We don't have investigative power. Handing it to Ian Cameron would have still meant it needed to go to the police station. As a matter of fact, handing it to anyone would have been a criminal offense if indeed that document was top secret.
But what gave you the impression that it needed a criminal investigation? They didn't come with a note saying, please, can you have this investigated for me? I'm too scared to come forward.
Well, if we have paid, what was it, close to R1 million, I'm unsure. If I'm wrong, please don't hold it against me, for a forklift, and the forklift is never delivered, that in my mind constitutes fraud or a loss of the SAPs. And also, if the 2IC of crime intelligence fails to pass a polygraph or has a criminal record, then she should not be the 2IC of crime intelligence. And I felt that warranted investigation as well. And then thirdly, with the other document was General Ushaba. If indeed he had staged a break-in and had allegedly defeated the ends of justice, that to my mind constitutes something that is worthy of an investigation. But I must add, advocate, that all I'm doing is I'm laying a criminal charge. The onus to investigate or to make a finding is not mine.
Yes, but I understood your evidence earlier to be that you would look at whether there was sufficient evidence or sufficient basis for you to go and lay those criminal charges. So that's what I'm trying to find out. You've reported it now to Mr. Cameron. There's something in it that must say to you that it must be criminally investigated. So that's the route that you decide to take. That's what you say, within 2 days of receiving that information.
Yes, advocate.
Okay. Or actually within a day, because you speak to General Lincoln that same
I spoke to
same
General
day.
Lincoln the same evening.
And General Lincoln is the general that has passed away.
He sadly passed away.
Okay.
Yeah, he's no longer here.
So you then go and you open up 3 cases.
Yes, ma'am.
at Grand Central.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And those cases are opened on the 29th of October, 2024.
Yes, according to the records on the 29th, if you had asked me the question without the docket in front of me, I wouldn't be able to recall the date, but yes, on the 29th.
Okay. And then you say at paragraph, still on page 48 of your statement, you say that at 387, after not receiving a satisfactory response from the Western Cape Police and on the advice of late General Andre Lincoln, former head of the anti-gang unit whom I regularly consulted on policing matters, I proceeded to Johannesburg to open cases concerning the same matters in another province. Now, after not receiving a satisfactory response, what was the response, firstly?
I called Lieutenant General Patikile, and I also emailed then Minister Sendum Kuno. And I told them my dockets have gone missing.
No, you're jumping the gun in terms of the chronology. Don't you send the email to the minister on the 1st of November only?
Yes.
Yes, but you open up the Johannesburg cases at the end of October, the 31st of October, 2024.
Yes.
So you couldn't have spoken to the minister before.
I sent 2 emails to the minister, ma'am, 10 days apart.
Yes.
If you will allow me just to check the dates,
I can tell you the dates.
Okay,
the
please.
1st of November, that's the first one. So
Yes.
we don't even need to go to the second one yet.
So what was the question then?
I asked you what was the response that you got at 387 so that we can find out why you found it not to be satisfactory, such that you went then to go get advice from General Lincoln, who says to you, go open it up in another province.
Yes.
So the response. So now, remember, we're on the 29th of October when you open the cases.
Yes, ma'am.
You receive a response that you're not happy with.
Yes, ma'am.
When do you receive that response?
I would not be able to tell you if it was the 30th or if it was the morning of the 1st. But I called, no, I'm just trying to explain to you. I didn't date it. I called General Patikile, and I think I may even have emailed him. If I can get my laptop up tonight, I'll see if, and I said that something is wrong, my dockets have gone missing according to General Andre Lincoln.
According to whom?
General Andre Lincoln.
General Lincoln tells you that your dockets are gone,
Told me
missing.
that, yes, ma'am.
How would he know?
General Lincoln knew everything in the police, ma'am. That's why I always consulted with him.
Okay. Clear up the confusion for me. The case is opened on the 29th of October. You say by the 30th or the 31st, correct? That you are unhappy because you've been told that the dockets are missing. On 2 days later, a day or 2 days later, you're told that the dockets are missing.
My recollection is that the dockets disappeared on the same day. I remember the general calling me. I think it was the same day. And he said to me, they've intercepted your dockets. And I'll tell you, from my mind's eye, I can tell you more or less what the conversation was. I said, General, is this regular? He said, no. I said, what does this mean? He says they're trying to stop this investigation.
When you first found out that the dockets are missing, did you go to the police station and verify that for yourself?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you ask the investigating officer, I'm hearing rumors that my docket is missing?
No investigating officer had been assigned at the time, sir.
So you were not given particulars of any policeman?
None, sir.
Including the one that you spoke to?
None, Commissioner.
So, but the long and short of it is you never asked the police station whether your dockets are missing or not?
No, Commissioner, I did not.
You concluded that whoever told you that they have been intercepted is telling the truth?
I took the word of a really good man, sir.
Who's not here to tell us whether or not he told you that.
I see where you're going, Advocate, and if there's one thing that I'm familiar with is death. Unfortunately, he's not here.
Well, let's just understand what then happens. When you speak to General Patikile, do you tell him that General Lincoln told you that the dockets have gone missing?
May I? No.
Why not?
I don't want to compromise General Lincoln at the time because he's an important source of information for me. All the time. All the time.
But if he's the source of information of what you consider later on, which you describe as a cover-up, why not say to him, I got this information from General Lincoln? It's credible. It's not as if I'm thumb-sucking this, because obviously, as a member of the public, you wouldn't ordinarily know that. Somebody would have to tell you that your docket has gone missing.
No, you are 100% right in that regard, but the short answer is if I had to give people away, if I had to give Andre Lincoln away, chances are we'd never get information from within the SAPS again. I wasn't going to take that chance.
Sorry, what do you say, you don't tell General Patekile that your source is someone as reliable as General Lincoln, so you don't tell him who
No,
is your
Commissioner, I
source.
did not.
What is wrong with General Patekile saying to you, let me investigate? Because that's the answer he gives you. Why is that not good enough?
If I can make you understand, Commissioner Baloyi, how few policemen we really trust, there's a reason why I was guarded about my approach to General Patekile and also the source of that specific information.
But if trust is an issue, why are you even speaking to him? Why didn't you just get onto a flight, as you finally did, a day or two later? Why don't you get into a flight and go to Orlando to lay your charge? Because you have trust issues. What's the point?
He's the provincial commissioner.
Exactly my question. What is wrong? You speak to the provincial commissioner, as I would expect. I don't fault you if that's what you did. I'm not saying you did anything wrong. What I don't understand I don't hear from what you have said so far is on the very next day, after you laid a complaint, he says to you, let me investigate. What is so fundamentally wrong in that response from a provincial commissioner who's not at the station, who has no idea who gave you this information? He has absolutely, I'm assuming you would accept that he doesn't have any knowledge you assume that
I
at
accept
least.
that.
Yeah, he has no knowledge of this. So what is so fundamentally wrong when he says, let me investigate, that makes you say, I have trust issues and therefore I went to a different province and police station?
There was actually nothing fundamentally wrong in what he said, Commissioner. Like I said, I just thought I'd get more urgency out of it. If there was something fundamentally wrong in what he said, I would have written him an email or the minister an email. I would have complained because this to me was a serious issue. I just seriously expected just a little bit more urgency, considering who we're dealing with. Now, I understand 100% where this is going. I see the time on this thing and it actually makes me wonder what's going on here. 8:05. I knew before then. So I don't understand that part. But what I can confirm is the dockets were taken.
And General Lincoln at the time wasn't in active service, right?
No, ma'am. He had lost both his legs and movement for him was a little bit restrictive.
He had retired in 2021 already.
Wasn't it earlier than that, perhaps?
Yes.
I think it was earlier than 2021, I think.
Okay. So you were getting this information from somebody who was not within the police force?
Most of our information about what's going on comes from outside of the police force. I'll give you a very short example. You can actually make contact with Brigadier Kaz Ghulam. I once called him on a Sunday morning. It was the most impressive police service I ever received. He's also retired now. And I called him, I said, Brigadier, I got news for you. I said, in Atlantis, at this address, in that yard, right on that spot, you're going to find 1,000 Mandrax tablets and a firearm.
Yes.
But that information came from outside of the SAPS as well.
Yes, but this is different. You are relying on the information now of a retired cop who had been in retirement since 2021. We are now in 2024. You don't make any follow-up with the station itself to find out whether the information that you're receiving from somebody who's not in active service is in fact correct, because it's not an official position that he's communicating. He can't. He's not a police officer in service at the time.
Like I'm trying to communicate to you, Advocate, most of our information comes from people who aren't in the system. Andre Lincoln knew everyone. He knew every policeman. He knew every gangster. He was reliable. If Andre Lincoln had to tell me to duck, I would have dived to the floor. I had that much faith in that man. And I really wish he was here today.
Yeah, but in this instance, he was wrong because the docket wasn't missing.
Before I admit that Andre Lincoln was wrong, I would question if these entries here are not made later. Ultimately, the docket went missing. Whatever you and I go back and forth here, those dockets were found in Pretoria, in Peter Jacobs' safe. I don't want, if I may, I don't want to accuse anyone of anything, but it would not surprise me if these entries were made later to try and cover somebody.
When were they found in General Jacobs' safe?
I heard that in the ad hoc committee. I can't tell you what date that was. Lieutenant General Sentimule confirmed that the dockets were in Lieutenant General Peter Jacobs' safe.
But it was after the process where there was a complaint that was lodged and it was investigated. That is why the dockets were assembled, because there was a complaint lodged either by you or on your behalf that the dockets had gone missing. Wasn't that the case? Isn't that why he was in possession of the dockets at that point?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That is impossible. Peter Jacobs is the head of the service directorate. I had laid a criminal complaint, not a service delivery one. These dockets, I understand your confusion. Maybe I'm the one confused. These dockets, even if I had to lay a complaint and they were at the station, should have stayed at the station. They couldn't have moved. The first person that had to be assigned these dockets in court, in the chain of custody, was the head of detectives. He's supposed to assign it to an investigator. Peter Jacobs had no business with these dockets.
We'll get to that, but my point is that when General Jacobs has the dockets, it's because there was an investigation and Colonel Phillips was the one that was tasked with investigating, and Colonel Phillips reports to him. That was an official SAPS process, and you knew that.
What I didn't know when Colonel Phillips called me was that he reported to Peter Jacobs. I did not know that. I found that out much later. And the reason I was suspicious of Colonel Phillips and the reason I did not meet him is because even I as a layman knows that in the SAPS, a lieutenant colonel doesn't investigate a general. And that too was relayed to me by Andre Lincoln. He said it doesn't make sense. That is why I refused to meet that man and I was evasive towards him.
Okay, we'll get to that because I don't want to jump the chronology. We can then go to, we are now on the 30th, where you speak to General Patikile.
Can I, just so that we don't leave this place with misapprehensions of what might have happened, you seem to take issue. If you look at that 3881, you suggested in so many words that the second entry at 20:05 is suspicious because you were not at the police station at that time. Did I understand you correctly? Did I hear
the second
you
entry of 2005, ma'am?
Yes.
If I may, Advocate Commissioner Baloyi,
What were you saying about it? I just
no,
want to
what
make
I'm
sure I
saying
understood.
is, if the allegation is that Andre Lincoln might have lied to me about the placement of the dockets, I'm saying to the Commission, before I believe that Andre Lincoln lied, I'd rather question the time, the manner in which this time was written in. That is what I'm saying. And again, I don't have proof of it. I didn't carbon date it, but I'm saying to you that my faith in that man, it will not be shaken.
Yes. Between you and Ms. Ncube, you don't have to deal with it now. I think that note must be put properly to be what it is. It doesn't suggest, my reading of it, it doesn't suggest that you were at the police station at 20:05.
No, ma'am.
What it is someone is making an entry
Yes, ma'am.
at 20:05.
I accept
You
that.
accept that?
I accept
okay,
that.
Thank you.
And what you're saying is that, are you saying the entries on 29/10/2024 at 20:05 and 31/10/2024 at 8:10, which says docket received from Cape Town Central for perusal, explanation/complaint lodge, does not have elements of crime, complainants could not be reached for further interview. Are you saying that is also, you doubt that entry, that it was a contemporaneous entry?
Ma'am, unless that is Colonel Phillips writing it, that is not true. They never called me. SAPS never called me. The only communication I had regarding this was from Colonel Phillips, and I don't even think it was on the 31st. I could not give you a date, but I'm almost sure it was a few days later. So if they're saying here that the complainant could not be reached, that is a lie.
On the
Before you leave
31st.
the date, what happened to the documents that were in the envelope? Because you're now going to a police station to open a case on the basis of those documents.
Yes, sir.
What happened to them?
I held the documents in my office.
So you kept them in your possession?
Yes, Chief. Yes, Commissioner. For the simple reason that I didn't want to give it to anybody. I wanted to give it to the investigating officer, which is what I told the person who received my complaint. I said, when the investigating officer contacts me, he can have these documents.
So we can leave it at you did not give them to
I
the
did not
police
give it to
on the
them.
day.
And just that too was on the advice of General Lincoln.
But you did make copies of the documents.
Of the letter of loss and of the purchase, the payment of the heister. I made copies of those. Yes, I did.
Okay. At the time when you handed them over,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, not when you opened these cases later on.
No, not at the same time.
Okay, when you engaged IDAC.
Actually, when I received the call from the IGI, just throwing it back now, I realized that if I give this information to the IGI, I still have to speak to another investigating body. So there were 2 copies of I think it was 2, it might even have been 3, of General Madondo's business, and only 1 copy of each of the Lushaba matter. So I made copies of the Lushaba matter.
Okay. So then you say you spoke to General Patikile on the 30th,
I'm sure it was the 30th, yes.
and you're not happy with his response either.
I was not happy with his response, ma'am.
Okay, which was what?
We are going to investigate this. It was just so bland. Look, I must also understand this man deals with a lot. He can't be as enthusiastic as I am all the time, but I just expected more.
Okay. And then what do you do?
I called up General Lincoln, and we decided that we should lay it in another province. And at first, he wanted us to do it in the Northern Cape. But then I said to him, look, I've got some business in Joburg. I'll do it in Johannesburg.
Just explain the more to me. You say you expected more. You approach him. Must my assumption be that he knew nothing about the dockets?
Commissioner Madlanga, I'm convinced that he didn't know about the dockets.
Yes.
I was just...
Exactly. Now explain the more.
So I'll explain the more.
He says he knows nothing about the dockets. He says, I'm going to investigate. You say you expected more. Just explain the more.
I will explain the more. I think it's a me problem. If I get a call at 6 o'clock from this gentleman over here, and he needs assistance now, he has a problem now, if at all possible, I will not put it off till tomorrow. I'll come now. That is just the way I operate, and sometimes I expect everyone to do it.
Just explain, let's leave Mr. Adams aside. What did you expect, General
I expected...
Just please wait for me. What did you expect General Particular to do?
I expected General Particular to tell me something like, I'll find out who take the dockets now, or come to my office, let's see what we can do, or I'll meet you at the station at 3 o'clock, or something like that, and I just wasn't...
No, remember, he's not at your beck and call. I understand this was something important, but you cannot expect him to respond instantaneously. If he says, I'm going to investigate, I just don't see what exactly you expected of him.
Well, within
Because
that...
you say in so many words that he knew nothing about the dockets. So it's like you wanted him, despite the fact that he knew nothing about the dockets, to still give you a response there and then and say, okay, now I know.
No, you are 100% right, Chief. And
I said to you, I'm not chief, please.
Oh,
please
Commissioner,
just try to drum that into your head. I'm not chief.
Sorry, Commissioner.
Yes.
No, you are 100% right, and in hindsight, I think I got carried away in the moment. That I do.
All right.
Commissioner, may I request, please, man, if someone can do something about that light, because I literally can't see when you're talking and when you're not talking, and this is causing me to interject.
For them to just move the light a bit.
Yeah, if they can just move the light a bit, because when you speak and you pause, I literally can't see that.
The one at the top.
That
there.
one, yeah.
Can something be done, please?
I can see Commissioner Baloyi quite fine, but you and Commissioner Kumala was...
I'm told a technician is coming.
Thank you.
Mr. Adams. Thank you. Sorry.